on all day. I know I'm gonna be gone all day. I will block all day. So over here on the action part is where you can block all day, part of the day, or you can even, if you blocked a date and then you decided that you don't need to, you can clear your block. So I'm gonna go ahead and block all day here. And then I'm gonna come over to the right. I'm gonna do a date range. I'm gonna pick the 21st through the 22nd. That is a Friday and a Saturday. And the time range already has updated because I'm blocking all day. And then I just hit apply over here on the right hand side. Once I apply it, it makes it red. Okay. For those who are in school, right now in the fall, we don't have any youth that's during the week, but in the spring, we do have some youth that plays during the week. And so if you know you can't make it to a game until 6 o'clock and you want to block part of your day, you're gonna go ahead and do block part of your day. You're not available from 8 a.m. to maybe you can't get to a game till at least 6 o'clock. So you're gonna choose 6 o'clock. You're gonna go over here to the date range. I'm just gonna pick a random date. Let's do the 19th through the 19th. That is a Wednesday. And I'm gonna apply it. And you see it updates to a peach color because it says block part of the date. And then if I want to clear my blocks, let's say for the 19th, I just do the same thing and then hit apply and it clears it out. Okay. If you have any questions about that, let me know. It is easier to do it on a laptop or a computer. You can do it from your phone if you have the app, but it's much harder. But you can also pull up on your phone a web browser and you can still do it from there. All right, so if you coach a youth team or a high school team, or your younger sibling plays on a team, you would just in blocks, click on teams. Over here on the right-hand side, you have to click show all, so it brings up all the teams available. Okay, you want to make sure that home and away is clicked so that it blocks them regardless if they are the home team or the away team. Let's just say you coach for Allen High School and you would just check mark the box and then hit apply. Apply and then save. And so then it's yellow. So then I would not get assigned to any JV games. I'm going to unclear that real quick though. All right. And same thing, I definitely encourage y'all to go back if you've in the past, you've blocked a team because maybe your younger sibling played for them and they no longer, or your kid played for a certain team and it's been past the 2-year requirement. You might want to go back and check to see if to unblock those teams. Okay. Travel limits. We do expect some of y'all to travel. I know it's a little bit harder for some of our high school kids, but sometimes we have to pull different people to different areas just because of availability, because there may be other high school games going on that weekend, or maybe there's a ref who is a little bit stronger who we need them to work with somebody who's still kind of learning. So you might get pulled to a different area. But if you want to update the distance you would like to go, here's where you would do it. You would put in your zip code that you would be coming from, and then the max distance you want to go. So like I have 2,000 miles in here, and that's because I travel. And then you could pick which days. You can either pick all the days or just pick, on Monday I can travel 2,000 miles, whatever the case may be, and then hit apply. And then that will allow me to make sure, well, it will block you out if the distance from your house to the site is more than your allotted distance that you have on there. Now, sometimes I will override that because maybe I see that it is a 1 mile difference. And so I will override that. Okay. And then postal codes, I don't really use that. Sites, if there's a certain site that you can't travel to because it's just too far and your parents don't want you driving out there, whatever the case may be, you can also do that here. Again, you have to hit show all, and then look for the site that you can't travel to. Let's say you live in Rockwall and you're not allowed to travel to South Lake or Keller, then you would find those sites and update it and block it. Just kind of the same way you would check mark the site and then hit save. All right, I'm gonna go back to the PowerPoint, sorry. Are you back on PowerPoint?
Not yet.
Oh, hold on. How about now?
There we go. Yep.
All right. Oh, and I forgot to show you how to do notifications, but I can email that out.
Great. Okay. All right. So rules and TERP. I know that we've done these in the past. Last year it was via Zoom. So this year we are planning on doing a rules and TERP meeting in January after the LACS convention that is held on the January 20th and 22nd. So we do currently have a tentative date set as Wednesday, January 25th. So if you will all please put that in your calendars, because we will make this a mandatory meeting for officials and then coaches. The season for spring will begin in January, and then like late January, early February. So we really want to make sure that we get that done before play begins. And then here you can see the spring season pay rates. Again, we're in fall right now, so the ones that we showed you earlier are less than what you do receive in the spring, but those are consistent with last spring. So, and then, but it will be very important just to make sure that we attend that spring meeting. As we are going into spring, we are going to talk about we're going to show some videos, but one of the places that you can also take a look is on USA Lacrosse site. Go down to the You Make the Call videos, and you can read here how you can access that. But that's a great place to really watch some different scenarios and go through and see those different, get into thinking a little bit differently on who was making the call, or who was making the play, whether that's the major foul, maybe it was a block, whatever it might be. So take a look at that. We are going to do a couple videos as well, but also just as we're going through the fall and getting ready for spring, remember that we want to make sure that we're working on our fitness. Make sure that you are keeping yourself stretched. Make sure you drink a lot of water. Make sure you're also in proper uniform. In the fall, the youth, you can wear the neon shirts, the ones that have been given out at Lely's tournaments, or you can wear stripes. And for adults, typically would be stripes, or also our new NTWLOA black shirts that we have received for the tournaments. But just make sure you're trying to be consistent with your partner, and also make sure that you're on time, communicate with them. And that way, if there are any issues, just bring it up to Linda or myself. We can make sure that we get it to the right person. And also, girls, just make sure that we are wearing longer shorts or skirts, not the 3-inch Lululemon, because we want to look professional when we're out there. So, did I miss anything on that?
Yeah, I just want to add, I know a lot of times the high school kids are during tournaments or transitioning from maybe playing to going to reps. So make sure that you are not wearing your team shorts or your club shorts. Make sure you switch into black shorts or pants, whatever it is. We don't want to see all out there. It is could be a conflict.
And also, this is Kendra, just to, like, with that, when you try to change clothes, even though the tournaments and your games schedule sometimes super back to back, try to be discreet and, change away from the field of play, maybe even before you leave your game, so that you're, kind of there with your team. And then when you come onto the field to be a referee, then you're separate from that other hat that you're wearing, so to speak.
Yeah, and one other thing that I will mention, because it was a question that got brought up and I forgot to mention in regards to spring pay. Spring pay will be paid via arbiter, but fall is when we get paid on the field. Linda, do you want to share a couple of the You Make the Call videos?
Yep. So I'm gonna head on over to this. You Make the Call videos. There won't be any audio. We're just going to be watching the video. I want y'all to just chime in the chat to tell me what call you would make. I'll pause it and give you a minute to chime into the chat. So let's see here.
Beth, while Linda's setting that up, can you repeat the date for the January meeting, mandatory meeting, please?
Yes, it's tentatively scheduled January 25th. We're hoping to have that at Parish. But we're working, it's still a little too far out for them to secure it. So we are diligently working and hopefully we'll be over 30 days. That way everybody can have that on their calendar.
I think one thing just to make note is that it's going to be before, like right after convention and then before February. So, within that a 2-week window of that actual date, we should for sure have something confirmed. Whoa, sorry.
Yes, exactly. So definitely during that little short window.
Thank you.
Real quick, somebody was asking about the NTWLA shirts in the chat. So if you voted on the bylaws, we have a list of the people who voted for the bylaws. And if you see me or remind me, if you know you're going to be out somewhere, I have the shirts in my truck, so I will be carrying them. If you're going to be out Saturday in Frisco, I will try to come out there and hand some of those out to those who are on the list. All right, can you see the You Make the Call video?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So I'm gonna play it there. I'm gonna turn off the sound because they're not talking. It's just me kind of music in the background. And then we'll just pause it and, like I said, give some time for y'all to decide what your call would be and just chime in the chat. This You Make the Call video is trying to decide if you would issue a card or no card. Watching number 15 here.
At least some of us are seeing an extremely herky-jerky version of it, like one frame every 3 seconds.
Okay, I'll replay. Is that better, Richard?
Not for me, but I live out in the sticks. It could be just me.
Is anybody else having problems?
It's just really fast. Like it's almost like it's in like fast forward or something.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's fast.
Here. Okay. That first one is a little bit fast, but then it slows down a little bit here.
It's a little slower.
All right, so we're looking at the girl 15 who's going in to shoot. And we're trying to decide if you see the circle, there's a stick right on her head. So if you'll chime into the chat and decide if you would issue a card or no card. See, about 3 people, 4. All right. You have a lot of yes, they would give a yellow card, yes, yellow card. All right, no card, Amy, okay. Oh, Michael, okay, due to the video call, I cannot tell if she initiated the contact or not. Okay, all right, so Amy and Michael, yes, good answers, because, so yes, this attacker here, we'll rewind here. It's going in, 15 is going in, and we have some of the defenders coming in, but white right here, if we stop the girl right in front of the goal circle, is there already, and her stick is there, and the attacker goes into the stick. Okay, so in this instance, we would not give a card. The attacker put her head into the stick. All right, the defender was holding her stick steady and not checking, therefore no call should be made. All right. I'm just gonna do one more just to kind of get that thinking about lacrosse here.
Hey, Linda, I think as lead, I would need my trail helping out on that call because I think the lead would be screened from seeing that attacker come in.
That's a good call out. May I still see the video? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So so lead's going in, and as Amy's calling that out, you know, the attacker's curving in. This lead is actually a little bit behind, but if they were pumped up a little bit, they may be able to see it. But this video view would kind of be from the view of the trail. So the trail would have the better angle here to be able to help make that call. Good call out. All right, I'm gonna do one more here. All right, and this one is, we're watching the goal circle. We're gonna try to determine if there's a goal circle foul. I'm gonna replay it. We are watching the attack on this, and then just again chime into the chat to whether there was a goal circle foul or not. Play it one more time. All right, so let's look at the chat box here. All right, Marcia said, looks like a goal circle violation to her. Michael, same thing. Michael said he looked like a goal circle violation by both players. Michael, I thought the same thing. And this might be a high school, I'm sorry, college, but if it was a high school, yes, I would agree. Can't see anything on my screen. No, shot initiated outside goal circle, stick hung around her after, but didn't do anything. Okay. Looked like the defender ran through the crease. Yeah, I would agree. Hard to see the line, but looks like both players stepped on goal line. Okay. All those answers are great answers and correct. Let's see what we have here. All right, so as the blue attack player was rolling the goal circle, she shoots and legally follows through with her stick. With the ball loose in the goal circle, the shooter leaves her stick in the goal circle and attempts to play the ball before the goalie picks up the ball. So if you saw that, she did put her stick inside the goal circle, attempting to try to play the ball while it was in the goal circle. So let's remember, yes, she can follow through, but once that ball's inside that goal circle, she can't attempt to try to pick it up and play it, okay? So yes, there is a goal circle violation there. The setup would be that blue player would go 4 meters behind that goalie and it would be a whistle start. Okay.
Hey, Linda, one question on the first, you make the call. So both the attack and the defender were moving at the same time. And so the defender had not really established her position any sooner than the attack arrived there. So would that make a difference? Because both of them kind of arrived around the same time at that position.
Sorry, which video, the first or second one?
The first one.
No, so one thing they made note on there was that the defender was not using her stick into it like a checking motion. It was just still.
Okay, because it looked like they were both approaching each other around the same time and the defender had not really established a position. So it was like they arrived at that spot around the same time, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So she arrived. I would agree. They arrived, almost at the same time. But because that defender wasn't, her stick was just upright and not moving towards like a checking motion, which is why they said no call.
Okay, gotcha.
Great question, though. All right, give me a second and get back into our PowerPoint.
Yeah, that was a good question. Does anybody else have any questions while we're pulling back up the PowerPoint? Okay.
Awesome. All right, so we'll move on. So there is, like Beth mentioned, lots of those videos that I think they almost come out like every week or like twice a month that you can go either on the US Lacrosse website or look at some of the older ones on the YouTube channel that they do have. And again, as Beth mentioned, just make sure we're working on our endurance, running and sprints. We don't want to look like this little gal on the picture. She looks pretty tired.
And you know what? One other thing, just for anybody that wants to listen to, or if you're a podcast, there is a good podcast. Now I can't remember what it's called. What is it called, Linda?
Layers of Lax.
Layers of Lax. So that would be one, you can always listen to. That gives a lot of scenarios. So it makes you think, and there, especially because we're not running into those scenarios on a weekly basis. So definitely that too. Okay, sportsmanlike conduct. We talked a lot about this last year, but again, USA Lacrosse is really asking everyone to place an emphasis on sportsmanlike conduct. They're asking, this is involving coaches, players, officials, trainers, everyone to take responsibility for making the game safe and making it a good experience for everyone on the field. And a lot of times, you know, you just want to use the cards. I know that sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking, especially if you're a youth official, but if you feel that it's necessary, the cards do help keep the game in control. You know, it's not just, yeah, it's hard, but it also slows down the game at that point. That way it can preserve the, you know, the game of lacrosse, but still having that free flowing, the free movement and everything else. So while it's not just us, it's not just the officials to make the game safe, but if we take our responsibility and make sure that we are calling a good game, continuing to make sure it's fair, good sportsmanship all around, we can at least do our part. And then hopefully that also rolls over to the players and the coaches to make sure that they're doing their part and keeping the game safe and playing and being good sportsmen while they're out there. So just make sure you use it if you need it. Anything else you want to add on that?
Nope, that's it. And for our high school students, if you're having an issue with a parent on the sideline, please, you know, go relay the message to the coach so they can try to fix it as well. And then if you do have an issue with a coach and you've carded them, you know, please make us aware. Anytime you issue a coach's card, I would prefer that you make me and Beth aware. And then anytime there's a red card issue, whether it's a player, a parent, a coach, that does need to be emailed to me and Beth as well.
Yeah.
You want me to take this?
Yeah, you can.
All right. So we're at the end here. So we're going to touch a little bit on our rule changes for 2023. Just going to be a quick overview. Not going to go into much depth into them, as there's still a lot of questions that, you know, we have regarding them, but we kind of just want to hit the surface on them. And then in January, we should know a little bit more. But if sometimes the teams want to start kind of using some of these new rules, and that's okay, as long as both officials are comfortable with these changes, and both teams agree to play with these changes. But again, I want to make sure that both officials are okay. And mainly at the high school. At the youth, I wouldn't practice these. I would say still use 2022 rules. All right. Oops.
Just quick interjection. I think like particularly at like Lily's tournament, I know she's ready to practice. So I think definitely be prepared at the high school level to implement, and you know, it's learning experience. So like every single time the new rule comes into play, you might not remember, but then like still make it a point to let's, you know, mention a few of the rules at the beginning, the ones that are super impactful, which are essentially the ones listed here. And then, you know, there's just a few that are like positioning, which is kind of an easy change to make, I feel like, for us to go ahead and start practicing, because I know some of the coaches are going to be ready to roll with this and want to practice it for their own coaching strategies, as well as their players to get familiar. And so we should get familiar too. So do be prepared, I would say, to use them, because it may already be written in the rules to, hey, we're using 2023 rules. So at least you've got a peek at them here. The article posted in USA about a month ago, probably now. You know, we can certainly send a link out to that article that has this kind of summary there as well, if we need to.
Okay, awesome, thank you. So just kind of touch base, the stick check and the adjustments to the restraining line are both changes for, there will be both changes for high school and youth. And these changes were to lead to more like consistent officiating, you know, help for going from college to high school. And then also, this will also provide these minor girls youth rules adjustments in order to provide more consistency with the high school game, just to ensure the players' experiences are good without sacrificing the safety of the players. All right. So again, just touching base on these, not required to apply pressure to the ball during stick check. So right now, when you do stick check, when you drop the ball in, you apply pressure. In 2023, that will no longer be the case. You will just be dropping the ball in, and as long as you can see the top of the ball that is visible above the top of the wooden or plastic sidewall, then it should be good, along with the other items that you check during stick check, meaning you tilt the stick in both directions, confirming the ball moves freely, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. The restraining line. So currently for 2022, let's just say there was 2 white players on the between the restraining line, and the official put their hands on their stick, and a player on the another white player on the field crosses over the restraining line to have 3 in between the restraining line. That's okay for 2022. So what they're changing in 2023 is, once the officials' hands are on the sticks, there cannot be anybody crossing that restraining line, regardless of the number of players, until the restraining line is released, meaning possession has been made. Okay. Player fouled outside the critical scoring area and can take free position to self-start within 4 meters. So the change there really is, instead of plain distance, they clarified that it has to be within 4 meters on that. Defense awarded free position can now self-start when fouled by an attack player within the CSA unless game clock is stopped. So currently, 2022 rules is anything in the CSA, whether we're coming in or out, meaning defense now is taking the ball out, it is a whistle start. So in 2023, that will change for if there's a foul on defense in the CSA and they're getting the ball, they can automatically self-start at that time unless the clock is stopped for an official's whistle. Okay, which I'm not gonna go, well, I will actually, an official timeout would be at illness, issuance of a card, alternate possession, an averted whistle, offsides, or requested stick check, or if, yeah, those would be the times that would be an official timeout. Okay. All right. No alternating possession for offsetting fouls when one of the fouls requires issuing a card. So currently in 2022, if it's offsetting fouls and one of them is a card, we still use alternate possession. Moving into 2023, that won't be the case. If one of those offsetting fouls, we have to issue a card, then it will no longer be considered alternating possession. This will align with college, which I think it's a great change. All right, so goalkeeper can carry the ball into the goal circle after it has been cleared or played. So the verbiage currently for 2022 is the goalkeeper has to roll the ball into the goal circle before going back into, and then follow it. In 2023, they won't have to roll it anymore. They can walk in with it. 3 seconds free possession administration from the spot of the ball to the 12-meter fan when the ball is outside the CSA. So currently for 2022, it's wherever the ball is. 2023, it would actually, when the 3 seconds is called and the ball is outside of the CSA, it would actually be an advantage for the attack now, because it'll get moved up to the 12-meter. And youth, we have the follow through. So the change there is youth used to not be able to follow through in the goal circle when there was a shot made. That will no longer be the case. They found out that, hey, there wasn't anything regarding safety there. So in 2023, youth will now be able to follow through the goal circle on a shot. So they still have to start their shot outside the goal circle, but they can follow through. And then 8U, which is first and second, they will no longer, they have eliminated the one pass rule, which that can vary per league. And so for now, until we get with our youth league, please continue to play with the pass rule for 2022. Okay. And I believe that is it. Any,
Quick question on a 3-second change when you move the ball to the 12 meter. Is there any clearing of the lane or?
yeah, so they haven't had clarified that, but I would assume that you would clear the lane since it is on a 12 and it is still considered a major foul, which at that point we would also stop the clock. Good question. Is there any questions in the chat?
I'm just trying to pull it up real quick. There was one on YouTube. Where are you finding any of the newer You Make the Call videos?
Kendra?
Yeah, so if you go on the USA, so earlier in the PowerPoint where it said to go to USA Lacrosse and then the rules, and then on the side, there's quick links to the rules section. And if you scroll below, it has like the rules and term videos from the current year. And then also has a string of You Make the Call examples as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you.
And just to be clear, for any of our lacrosse tournaments and games we're officiating in 2022, we're still sticking to the old rules until these are implemented in 2023, correct?
Yeah, for youth, yes, 100% keeping to 2022. High school, if it's tournament, I'll clarify that with the person running the tournament, but my guess is that we are going to go with 2022. Actually, you know what? Yes, let's just do 2022. If they ask for something different, I'll let y'all know, but for now, yes, I'm saying 2022 only for tournaments. Do you have any other questions in the chat?
No, nothing that nope.
All right.
Does
Awesome.
anybody have anything else before we wrap up? Nope. Okay. Kendra, do you have anything else? Kendra?
No, I am, if there are any of the new trainees on the call from this last week, I am uploading our videos to our YouTube channel. So it just takes a little bit of time, and then to try to get all the information to you in like 1, maybe 2 emails instead of just keep, hitting you up with a bunch of different information. So, just stay tuned. That'll be wrapping up in the next day or 2 on my end. And then I can add this also recording to our YouTube channel as an option as well.
Awesome. Thank you. One more question came through. Do you have the link for the transitional class at President's Cup? Linda, if you will send that out to those that might be interested in that, that would be great.
Yeah, I will say, Michael, you do have to sign up to be a part of CWLOA to get into the transitional, but I will send that out to you.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for being on. We really appreciate it, and we'll be in touch. Linda will be getting ready to assign all the tournaments, so make sure you get your arbiter up to date, and we'll look forward to seeing you all out on the field.
Oh, real quick, if you join, make sure you put your name in the chat so we can get your name for attendance.
Yes. Oh, yep, we got a couple that are coming through. Yes, if there's anybody else left, real quick before we get off. But thank you again, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Yeah, hopefully, Christy, you got some of these ones that didn't have every.
Yeah, I just kind
You're muted.
I went through and checked people off, like through
Okay.
the,
Great. Awesome. Okay,